This video I'll be showing you how to make what I call Cranky the Cat. I've made a couple of these. The trick is finding the crankshaft. I'll talk about that a little bit in the video. But I'll go through what I use to make one and how I do it. And if you want to make one, you can put your own twist on it. Let's get going. So I like to start out with a crankshaft. That's why I call him Cranky the Cat. You get these out of 10 horse, 8 horse riding lawnmower motors or whatever might have a motor in it like that. It's a lot of work to get one out. So if you can find a repair shop where they take them out when they're bent or they've pulled an engine apart and it's not rebuildable, that's the best way to get them. Sometimes you see them in the scrapyard. Or if you can pick up a motor that's no good, it's a lot of work getting one out. Then for the legs, I like to use these tines. You can get them out of, they made a piece of farm equipment. It was a big drag and it would have, I don't know, they'd have 40, 50, 60 of these things on there. I bought a couple of them, taking them apart. They work really good for legs. Use this part down here for the foot. Cut this off up here. If you don't have something like this, I'm sure you could come up with something similar to come out and go away. But these are, I've got a bunch of these still, so I'll be using that for the legs. So I'll just cut these off somewhere in here. I'll weld them on here, and then we can start figuring out what we want to use for the tail and the other features. This is my welding jig. I've got some steel stacked up precariously here. I've just kind of got the crank setting on there, and I can just set these legs up here like this and tack them on. In case you're wondering how to get it positioned, just have to come up with enough blocking to put you at the height you want to be. But that way I can just set my legs right on my plate here. I've shined up the bottom so they'll ground, and then it'll set somewhat flat. So the legs are welded on. Now it's time to pick out the tail. That's usually pretty easy because you got something around for that. This is, looks like the 3/8 rod. It was like a circle on the end. Somebody welded it shut for a piece of farm equipment. I cut it open. You know, sometimes the cats have the little curl in the tail on the end. So I thought I'd just do that. Put that on there like that. It's pretty straightforward. Probably the hardest part to find is something for the face. I thought about using this sprocket here, bicycle sprocket, a few of those. Thought about using this. These are for out of planters, corn planter. Got a couple of these hanging around. I like these the most. This is an old gear, cast gear, out of a piece of farm equipment. The ground-driven farm equipment will have a lot of these big gears and chains on it. When you're taking it apart, the hard part is usually getting them off the shafts. Sometimes you just gotta cut the shaft and have it be part of the gear. And then other times they've put so much grease on them over the years. Usually I throw them in a campfire or something to get the grease off them or wash them. But with this crankshaft being cast and this gear being cast, if I just weld that to that crankshaft, that weld with a wire welder, I could get out the stick welder and do nickel rod and the whole 9 yards, but it's easier just to, I've got some mild steel here. I just had a couple round pieces. They already cut on an angle, so I just cut them and weld them on there. It's none too pretty, but once it'll rust up, it'll look fine. So that gives me this mild steel welded to this here. So it should have plenty of strength for just holding the head on over the years. I hate it when somebody has to bring something back because it broke. That's happened a couple times. Usually it's it fell or something, but still rather not have things break. Or the pet peeve is when they tip over on their own. So I extended out this far because I got to weld something for whiskers on here. So this will give me some mild steel to work with instead of trying to weld to this cast. So some whiskers, some eyes, some ears, weld the tail on. It's coming together. So the base is all welded on. I just welded it here, and then there's a little weld in the back. I'm kind of debating now about just using these for the eyes. I'm not quite sure how they're going to look. So I've used these before for ears. They're stamped rocker arms. I thought I'd put those on for the ears, and then might as well just stay with the motor theme. I got some push rods. I'll cut them in half. I'll use those for the whiskers. So I'm gonna get the lighting starting to fade here. I'll get the ears and the whiskers on and sit back and take a look at it, and I may just go with this for the eyes. So after I got the ears and whiskers welded on, the more I got to looking at it, I just decided that those holes would work just fine for the eyes. I held a few things up there, but nothing really looked that good, so I guess that when it lets you know that it's done. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Scrap to Art Metalworks on Facebook. If you want to see some other stuff. Have a good day.